All right, guys, today we're in a 2003 Mercedes E55. We're going to show you how to replace the radio. First thing you do is you're going to open up that little ashtray compartment thing. Then you're going to turn on the car to the ignition position. Put your foot on the brake. Make sure the e-brake is all the way down. Keep your foot on the brake just in case the e-brake doesn't work. So then we're going to pop this into neutral. Okay, then you're gonna grab from back here. Make sure you grab from here, because if you grab from the front, from the back, you're gonna break something. Okay, so with both hands, you're just gonna pull up. It comes right up. Now this hinge is back here, so you gotta make sure you let it forward, and then you can pull up. Now once you get that out, at this point, turn off the car. There's gonna be two. So this one, there's a tab on the back. Push that tab in, see, and it comes right out. And then on the front, just see. You can't see that from this side. I'll show you. This one just pulls right out. See, so this one has no tabs. It's just a puller. Okay. Now for this, you don't have to take all this off, but I do too, and just in case you don't scratch anything. So this knob has to turn. I think it turns to the left if I don't counterclockwise. I mean. Oops. Yeah, counterclockwise. And once it releases like that, well, it just pulls right out. It takes a little force, but once you release it, it releases, and now you have the bare stick over here. I'll put that off to the side. All right, so the next part you're gonna do, oh, you know what, we'll be right back. I left my pick tool. All right, guys, next step you're gonna do is you're gonna come in here and take this out. It's really easy. Well, you can do it that way. That's not the proper way of doing it. So I always come in here and make sure to actually lift the plastic. As these cars get older and older, they get more fragile. As you can see, half the sorry guys, trying to do this from this side is a little bit of a pain. I can't see. There it goes. And then on this side, you're gonna do the same thing. All you have to do is lift that plastic over, so it goes over like that, and then comes right up. Okay. Then lower that like that. And then when you come over here, this is a pain to get off, but once you know the trick, you gotta push downward and then just wiggle it. See, 3 prongs. That's it. Now let me go get a T20 Torx, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. Next thing you're gonna do is there's 2 T20 Torx screws down here to release the CD changer. All right. So what we're gonna do is this has a magnetic tip so it doesn't drop. But even though, grab it with your finger to make sure. Oh, I didn't grab my finger. Try not to hit the camera, because the camera's expensive. Mr. Pixel Motive will kill me if I scratch his lens. Alright. So, now that those 2 are out, let me just turn off this flashlight. I don't think you have to pull this. Oh, go back down here for a quick second. And then now when you look, this one connector right here, you just got to wiggle out. Oops. Okay, there's no locking tab or anything. This one has a locking tab on the side right here. Squeeze that and pull it right out. And then now when you pull, oh, is that one part of it too? I forgot there was a third one. All right, so also pull out this one. Okay. So now that's all done. We're just gonna watch the wires on the bottom, make sure they don't get caught up. And then this whole thing comes out. All right. It's pretty much CD changers in here, and then all the connectors run through the bottom. All right, let's. I'll come back and I'll show you how to take out the radio itself. All right, guys. Now I'm gonna take this 2 screws out using my clutch, using my screwdriver, but. So I want to warn you right now, I have my clutch set to the lowest setting, which means that if you look, you could see I can stop it with 2 fingers, which means that it's going to sense that there's little resistance, and then it's going to stop. If you don't know what you're doing, don't use this with an electric screwdriver. Use a use a handheld, because I don't know what happens if you apply too much force to these screws. So what we're going to do now is that with the clutch set at number 1, we're going to go in here, okay, and we're going to unscrew the screw. Now, just keep going slow. If you have a cheap drill, don't even bother. Do it by hand. And you see how it just stopped? That means it's all the way out, and that's what we want. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, that's good. Now that we're there, you can see the radio move freely and come right out. Let me adjust angles, and we'll come back and we'll show you how to take it out. All right, guys, next part's easy. Next part, you just grab the radio, and it comes right out. All right, so then what you're gonna do is back here, be delicate with the fiber, especially in older cars. I haven't had one break, but you never know. So this top piece, you're just going to push that down, and as you push that down, grab the sides and wiggle it out. This is one of those you don't want to pull by the wires, because the fiber is on here. So that's out. Now the back of this radio all has a blue connector. It looks like it has for GPS, but it wasn't. It wasn't connected, and if you look at the front, it doesn't say nav, so the only thing I can assume is that they used the chassis from something else. You see, I think that's where the nav button would have been, and it's not there. All right, so for you guys that are watching the radio removal video, that's the radio removal video. We're also going to show you how to install an aftermarket radio. Oh, real quick, let me, I'll be right back. I would show you something. All right, guys, I want to show you real quick the locking. The screw you did on the bottom and the top, you're going to think it's just a screw, but it's actually a locking mechanism. It's pretty cool. So we're going to go in here. All right. Now watch. When you screw it, it closes it. Pay attention up here. Boom, and the radio's locked into place. And then when you open it the other way, you unlock it. Isn't that pretty cool? Figured I'd show you that. But anyway, that's the radio removal video. We're going to show you how to install a radio in this car. This car has the Bose, so it's the plug and play for the Bose. All right, guys, now we're over here under the glove box. This is the glove box. All right, we're gonna have to take off this panel down here in order to get to a CAN bus block. You'll see what I mean. This is a T25 Torx. The one under the radio was a T20, so we changed that up. Oh, we gotta adjust the clutch. So we got one that dropped, and now we got the second one over here. All right. So just to let you know, this car has like an air ride suspension adjustment module, and we've actually already run the radio, so you might see a couple wires down here. See, that's the air ride wire, and then over here to the end, which don't pan that way, are our wires. But anyway, so if you look over here, this right here is a CAN bus strip, so you get to insert something in there. Let me go back and get the harness, and I'll show you what are we doing. All right, guys, so this is all the main harness. I'm not going to show you this right now. We'll get to that in a second. First thing I'm going to show you is this paired wire. This is the CAN bus wire. This allows it to read the CAN bus wires, well, to speak to the CAN bus system in order to do the steering controls, and also does your ignition on and off. So first of all, you're going to run this down here to under the glove box. If you can see through here, whoops, hey there, you can see my fingertips. If you can see my fingertips, that's how easy it is to run. So watch, I'm not even going to hold it. I'm just going to go like this, see if it gets through. It's probably there. Let me find it. See, there it is. See, I don't even have to touch it. So then what we're going to do now gonna run this over here. Then you're gonna go down here and plug it into here. All right. So that looks like a grounding point. That's what I thought, but it's a CAN bus. I guess the more components you add to the car, you just plug them in there, which is pretty cool. Now you're gonna tuck this down under the air vent. Before you finish up the job, before I finish up the job, I'm gonna go over there and tuck it even better. The problem is that, all right. Well, make sure it's plugged in too. I just unplugged it by pulling on it. The thing is that there's that little plastic thing there. I don't know if that moves or not, so I kind of want it to go down and kind of up to avoid that plastic thing, but I'll fix that before we finish the job. Now let's go back to the radio cavity. All right, guys, so now we're back here. We're gonna put on, well, we're gonna continue the radio installation. So our kit's a three-piece kit. It's the front plate, back plate, and a metal cage. First thing we're gonna do is put the back plate in. So I'm just gonna loop all the wires through. All right. Now, if you remember, we just showed you how that goes up and down. So it locks into these teeth. And that's how it holds the kit in, just like the factory one would. Okay. So, but on this, be super extra careful. I don't think it's gonna break the plastic, but you never know. Hey, where's the screw? No, that's not it. All right, let me get low. There it is. Like I said, when you shoot for a video, it's always a little different, so. All right, do that and do the other side. Nice and still. All right, so that's in there nice and firm. We'll be right back and show you the wiring. All right, guys, so we replaced the CD changer with a pocket. So since the CD changer is not going back in, we have to install a fiber optic loop. What the fiber optic loop does is that it sends the fiber in and out so that it doesn't bleed out. So just leave that back there. You know, don't worry about it. Now, wow, this thing's so light now. Make sure that big one's up there. Insert this little one down here. Okay. And the only one you're gonna put back is the big one. When you took this apart, there were 3 of them. Not sure if that was supposed to happen, but let me see. How do you? All right, let's continue with the wiring, and then we'll figure out because this isn't gonna close until we plug in the radio. Let me just make sure I kill the battery. All right, you know what? I'll be right back and we'll start the wiring. All right, guys, so we got the CAN bus hooked up down over there. I'm gonna see if just by hooking this up, this will pick up enough power to close that door. Because that door in the way is very annoying. Just gonna hit until it says audio. She might have to start the car. You might have to plug in the radio itself. Let me figure this out and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back now. So I figured it out. This has to be connected to the main harness. This has to be connected to the little box, very important. And the 2 wires in the glove box that plug in have to be plugged in. And then the fiber has to be plugged in. Once that's plugged in, you can start the car. You don't have to hook up the entire radio, but you can start the car. It takes a minute. You have to go down to audio. There it goes. And then it'll close it, because doing this install with that in the middle of the way is very annoying. So let's continue. We'll finish up this install. All right, guys, so now we're back. We are going to show you the harnesses. So this is CAN bus, high and low. This goes to the connector under the glove box we already showed you. Now the unit needs power, so in order for it to get power, what you're gonna have to do is plug it in to here. But first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of this fiber optic connector because we're gonna use it somewhere else. So you're gonna stick a small pick in here, okay, between this little latch, and then once you put the little latch, it comes right out just like that. Okay. So now we're gonna hook up the black and the yellow. So this gets power and constant ground, okay? And this is the data. This is all the information it takes from the car. Everything else is an output. Well, and the fiber too, but let's do the fiber. So let's finish car connections. So the fiber box has a connector already in it. Just pull that one out. Okay. Now, we're gonna try to get this connector with, there's a push in that to keep it from getting dirty, but for now they come with this. So you can do the same thing you did on the other one. Just push it off to the side and use the pick to bring it out. Be careful not to stab any fiber. If you stab the plastics, no big deal, but fiber is not that delicate, but it can be broken, and if it breaks, you have to get it repaired, and that's expensive. So this fiber goes over here. Okay. Now, this is the factory fiber. This goes into this box. What this box does, this is the audio in here and some of the signals. So this fiber box over here transfers it into an analog connection. Okay. Now, this box is the one that does the rest of the work. So it gets the twisted pair, which is the signals, and then the black is ground and yellow is power, just like a battery. The rest of the wires on this harness get translated from CAN bus through the box to wires, because radios can't understand the CAN bus. So the pink one's vehicle speed sense. The vehicle speed sense tells it how fast you're going, like the speedometer. That's useful for some navigation radios require that. The red wire is ignition. It tells it to turn on and off with the key. The orange wire is illumination. It tells the radio to dim when you turn on the headlights. This green wire is the parking brake, so you can bypass the security features. Most of you guys are going to bypass them and not use the parking brake. And then the purple, it should be purple and white. I don't know why it's purple. That's the parking brake. The reverse wire. It tells the radio to turn on the backup camera when you put it in reverse. This is not meant to power a backup camera. Do not power a backup camera off this, so you'll blow up the box. All right, and that's pretty much it. So those are the connections. These wires over here are loose. The rest of the wires go into what we call Blaupunkt style. So all our harnesses are made to plug directly into Blaupunkt. When we designed them, it was a pretty popular connection, and we're doing a lot of Blaupunkt. Now, if you don't have a Blaupunkt, for most, give me 1 second. For most radios, all right, guys, for most radios, we have what we call a plug and play. Plug and play, what it does is it's a plug and play converter. It converts it from a Blaupunkt into this, in this case, for a Pioneer 4200, or by the time that this video goes public, it's going to be a AVH-4201 NEX. It's the same exact radio, except for it comes with a backup camera from everything I've read. So you're going to connect this into here. Whoops, wrong one, black to black. And then that's going to take all the wires over there. This loose wire is an amplifier turn-on. Amplifier turn-on is done by CAN, so don't even worry about that. And the yellow and black is a mute. Never gets used, so just tape off the end and put it away. The other two are the reverse and the parking brake. So we're going to hook those up. So green goes to green. And purple goes to purple. Okay. And that's it. RCA's over here. This is the audio. Make sure you're listening. Always hook it up to the front. You don't have balance in this car. It's only left and right. There's no front and rear. But always hook it up to the front, because the Bluetooth always comes through the front. So if you hook it up to the rear, no, you're not going to be able to hear your callers. Okay. Let me go get the metal cage, and we'll come back and figure out how we're going to fit all this back here. So pretty much next part of the install is the cage. You're gonna get all this wiring through here. All right, I recommend that you mount the brackets in the cage on your bench, and then when you get to the car, you don't have to play around in the car to see how it fits, how the depth is, because you have to adjust the depth on the brackets. I'll show you in a second. All right, so now that this is in, you're gonna find, try to find the, sorry guys, the light. You gotta find whatever you're gonna bend. These little triangles actually hold in the cage. You don't have to go too crazy bending them, because when you put the radio and everything expands. But on this cage, there's a lot of grip, which is nice. Some cages you put them in and you can't find anything to grip on, and then it just doesn't feel right. So pretty much I'm bending all the ones closest to the edge. So there's usually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can bend a couple more if you want, but if you look right there, it's not going anywhere, okay? And I already test fitted this on the cage. I mean, yeah, that's not going anywhere. I already checked this out on the bench, and it fits no problem. So now at this point, also don't forget to put in the 2 screws down here. I didn't mention that. The reason we had to put this in first is because since this comes in and out, if you put the radio in first, then you won't be able to push this in. So this always has to go in first, but we didn't film the putting the screws back in. We're cutting short on time. It's getting late. So this gets power right here. This right here plugs into here for the fiber, so for the audio, okay? So you're gonna put that back there. This is the adapter box. This also does the steering wheel controls with the steering wheel control lead. And then also there's a plug and play. The plug and play is right here. This plugs into here. Since all the audio comes from the RCAs from over there, this harness does not get used in this install. If you want to be OCD, you can unpin it and get rid of it, but it's not that tight back there. And this box, well, we already went through the CAN features of it. I forgot. The other side of it does the steering wheel controls. So let me go get that, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, so this is a SWCL pile. What this does is that these little loops over here tell this box that it's Pioneer, so you don't have to sit there programming it. Okay, so that, but once you plug that in, make sure this is plugged into power. You have to unplug this, wait 5 seconds. Once you plug this in, these loops will tell this box for Pioneer. But if you plug it in after the box gets power, it won't program right. All right. So this goes into the wired remote input of the Pioneer radio. We're going to merge the reverse wire and the parking brake. Okay. These RCAs give the whole system audio, so they're going to hook up to the front output, because it gets output from the radio. So we're going to go to Pioneer Radio. Let me protect the dash here a little bit. And so we're going to put this down over here. All right, so the RCAs are going to hook up to front. If you hook it up to rear, go right ahead, but you're not going to be able to hear people when they call you. So front, put a little tape on there. Just like I said before, this customer already has a radio installed. We just, with the old harness that didn't do the pocket and the steering wheel controls, we did steering wheel controls, but the other steering wheel control harness, what it did was when you hit song up, it would go through the menus. This actually pulls up the audio menu the way it's supposed to. So this is why we had to redo the install, and while we're redoing it, we figured might as well shoot a video. If you look down here, it says wired remote, so that's where the WR is going to go. This car, the antenna is actually in the trunk. So we had to run a wire all the way from the trunk to the front to plug into here. Okay. We didn't cover that because it's already run. If we had to run it new, then we would have filmed it. But, you know, I'm not going to take the car apart again. It's not my car to take apart, and, you know, if I don't have to. Because when you start taking apart body panels, sometimes they don't go back together perfectly. Number one. Number two, if you have a... we have windshield mount antennas that may work too. So, but check the website. We haven't checked that on this car yet. So the plug and play goes right into here. Okay. I figure out the aux. This car has Sirius. Oh, if you have Sirius, factory Sirius, and factory satellite radio, GPS, we have the antennas to keep all that, so you don't have to mount any external antennas, which is fantastic. Your USB is gonna have to run somewhere. As far as the microphone, we do a nice custom microphone in this car. Up top, we'll show you that a different video. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to film one today. And what else? I think that's it. So, everything else here is done. So, we're just gonna put this back here. Very careful with the wired remote down here. I actually recommend you probably tie it to here, because what's gonna happen when you push the boxes back, it's just gonna pop right out. You don't want that to happen. Make sure everything's in there. You don't pinch any wires. It looks like a lot of stuff back there, but to be honest with you, it's not too bad. All right, we're watching the wire mount. Oh, like I said, we already ran the microphone. I'm not going to show the microphone because the customer actually has a Kenwood radio in here. We're just using we use a 4200 on it. This is actually the. All right, you got to get past the screws. This is actually the radio out of my personal car. We always use the most popular radio for our videos, even though the customer has a more expensive radio. Not too many people buy it. All right, so that didn't go in perfectly, so we're gonna go back over here and figure out what happened. All right, so the boxes are everywhere. So we're gonna try to flatten out the steering control and flatten it. Actually, you know what? There's no reason why that wouldn't have pushed all the way in. So it's probably some wires. All right. Or sometimes the RCAs get caught up. There you go. And then you put this back on. All right, before you do this, what I just did, put the radio 3/4 of the way in and make sure everything works before you push everything in, because honestly, last thing you want to do is take everything back out. But anyway, beautiful dash kits. Radio comes right on. And let me figure out the steering controls, how they work for the Pioneer. And I don't have one. Well, let me show you volume at least, because I know a lot of people. So volume down, and song up, and song down. As you guys can see, if you look in the center cluster, can you get that, Mike? See how it says audio? You still have an audio. Most people, every other E-Class I've ever done, it doesn't say audio, and when you hit next song, you'll be sitting here, and you'll be doing this as you go through songs. Our harness says audio, so you just go through the presets, and if you hold it, you do scan. Let me figure out the phone functions and all that stuff, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, real quick, I'm going to show you that the face opens up. A lot of people always ask me this because they wonder if it gets stuck. The 4200 has a switch on the bottom. There's a huge pain in the butt. So what happens is, if you watch, when you switch, when you open it, you're going to hear it click. All right, it got stuck. All right, so I'm going to do it one more time. So I'm going to hold down here and eject. So you can either do that every single time. You see this little switch right here? If you can see that's a bright. Let me flashlight it. Sorry, guys, batteries are dying on everything. See that little switch? That's the detachable face switch. So you switch that off and the face comes out. Only on the 4200 is this problem going to happen. Oops. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this face, and I'm going to notch out the back in here where the switch is, so it doesn't get caught. You see? That's what happens every single time. So I'm going to notch it with a Dremel, and I'll show you, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so pretty much I didn't even Dremel it, I just went with a hand file. So what happens is that you're going to make the thickness of this back here thinner where it hits, so that way it doesn't catch. So what'll happen, it's almost like an on-ramp for, like, I guess for, for handicap people going upstairs. It's the same thing. Instead of having this big lip, you're going to have a smaller lip, and it gradually goes up. Exactly like a ramp. So I'm going to put that in, put this back in here. Mike behind the camera was like, you don't want to test it first? I'm like, nah, man, I've done this 1,000 times. This is just a very tight kit. The better looking the kit is, the more chances of it, see? So once you notch it like that, it opens and closes no problems. I'll never forget, it was a Toyota pickup truck the first time I figured out the notch. Hour and a half trying to figure out why it was getting stuck, and it was the notch. So anyway, if you have 4200, notch it. If you don't, usually you don't have to worry about it. But 4200 is the most popular selling radio on the market right now. I think it has at least 25% of the market share. But anyway, that's it. All right, guys. So install is done. Everything's in. I just want to show you. We replaced the CD changer with the factory pocket. Check out our video for the pocket. We have a video. We actually have a pocket that's deeper but not as nice, and it's a little bit cheaper. All right. All right, so that's that. Now, when you move on to the steering wheel controls, if you look at the display, it actually says audio. Most when you buy them, every adapter I've ever used besides this one doesn't say audio. So what happens when you do song up and down in the steering wheel controls, it goes through your menus, which is horrible. So now, if I'm going to show you right here, this up and down goes up and down through your presets. If you hold it down, it scans through stations. All right, and then you have volume up,
and this was
volume down. Try not to pick up. And then when you go through phone calls, this will ring in a second. It will pop up on the radio like everybody does, and just like the factory radio you had, you pick it up like that, and you hang it up with the other button. And then if you also wanted to, what you could do is the hang up also rejects a call. That's standard. All right, so it rejects the call. Now I want to show you real quick on the ignition. If you see it's on. Oh, sorry, we're actually in reverse. Now you can. This will actually work in the accessory position, and all from those two wires. You don't have to go crazy searching for wires in the car. Honestly, this is the. If you got an E-Class, our dash kit looks better than everybody else's, and our wiring harness is better than everybody else's. So, anyway, video is brought to you by enfigcarstereo.com. We sell, we install, we also ship worldwide. If you're a shop, we do wholesale accounts, and we have pretty good shipping international. If you're not in the United States, pretty much overnight to Canada and Mexico for shops. Anyway, give us a call if you have any questions. My name is Christian, enfigcarstereo.com. Thanks for watching.